As a CISO, how do you promote a culture of innovation while ensuring that there is a robust security at the same time? It has to be a priority for organizations these days. So, how do you navigate this challenge?
So promoting a culture of innovation, definitely it must be there for all the companies because the cybersecurity should not be the blocker for all the companies and it should not be a blocker for the business even because definitely company has to do the business in this digital era. This is one of the key challenges which I definitely say most important for the all the companies to be addressed on. The another is basically how to address the risk, any risk. I can say specifically what I speak about the MFA or any risk for the company. And if I can share my experience in this challenges, so I have faced the challenges to implement the multi-factor authentication for the any of the organization they are really not more concerned about the cybersecurity.
Hello and welcome to the mainstream. I am Simran Shivalkar, your host for today, and we are back with a new episode from our exclusive series called Voice of CISO. Today we have with us a true leader from the cybersecurity space, Mr. Hiral Shah. Mr. Shah, thank you once again for joining us in this series.
Sure. Thank you very much. Thanks for giving me an opportunity to share my experience at your platform.
The pleasure is totally ours. And while you need no introduction, I will still take a few minutes and take this opportunity to share a few things about you.
Sure.
Today we are excited to have Mr. Hiral Shah with us in this series. With over 24 years of experience in information security, he has dedicated his career to helping organizations protect their most valuable assets. As the Chief Information Security Officer at Elecon Engineering Company, which is the part of the Elecon Group, he has played a key role in strengthening security defenses, managing risk, and ensuring compliance across different industries. His work goes beyond just securing systems, it's also about creating a culture of innovation while keeping security at the forefront. Mr. Shah is known for his hands on approach to solving complex security challenges and driving change in how organizations view and manage their cybersecurity strategies. Today, we are thrilled to dive into his insights and also learn more about his journey. So, without any further ado, let's begin. Mr. Shah, welcome to our series. And with that being said, more than 2 decades of experience now. Could you tell us a bit about this journey, how this has shaped your perspective as a leader in the tech space?
Okay. So if I can say about my journey, I've started my journey somewhere in the 1999 and that I have gradually moved forward with this programming language like that in the decade of the 2000, that was completely very common language was running in the command prompt, right? And then I started my making the careers in the programming, then gradually I moved forward with the networking, then I have started taking the lead somewhere, and then I had jumped into the cybersecurity space somewhere in the 2000.
Great. And what do you think has been the most significant changes in the cybersecurity landscape over the past few years? How this has influenced your approach to securing organizations?
Okay. So basically, if I can say, over the past few years, even everybody is aware about, information security, cyber security is very well matured as of now, right? And if compared to the, if the last 5 years, last 10 years, there are more significant changes I can say in the cyber security is the sophisticated ransom attacks. So ransomware attack, you can say the malware attack, the virus attack, a lot of attacks are happening. So that is the significant changes there in the cyber security. It is increasing the increasing the supply chain attack as well because all the business are digitalized right now. So the most important is supply chain is the most important key areas for all the business. So attacks are happening to the supply chain, and it is shift towards to the zero trust the attack as well, so company is also thinking to be just implement the zero trust so we can reduce the attack. But yes, the attack significantly improved, and the attack is happening in this supply chain as well as in the key area of the ransom attack. And if I can say the evolution, in the threats has necessitated in the proactive stance. So, It is incident response plan is the most important for all the companies, all the organization. Like, and the continuous monitoring is the most important for the companies if they really want to reduce the risk, remediate the risk. They wanted to, make the better footprint in the terms of the cybersecurity. Additionally, the growing importance on compliance and the data privacy regulations has pushed the organization to adopt the more comprehensive security framework. So data governance in terms of maybe data privacy is one of the aspect I can say today. DPDP is also the government is pushing hard the DPDP, but under the DPDP government aim to be the better data governance in terms of the data privacy, in terms of the other data. So that is one of the aspect also there, and other part compliance is also going to become a more and more tightened day on day. So government is definitely come up with the law appliances and they definitely insist to be at least compliant with the baseline securities. That's why they have published a very clear guideline. Company has to be at least minimum company has to be follow the ISO 27001 guideline or maybe the baseline cyber resilience at the company level. This is the one part again. And yeah, so that's basically the app I would suggest companies supposed to take.
Fantastic. And thank you once again for throwing some light on that. On the same lines, Mr. Shah, you are known for conducting thorough risk assessments. In your experience, are there any common challenges that you have observed? Organizations often, oftentimes they tend to overlook some of the aspects of security. According to you, what steps can be taken to address these challenges? And if you could, shed some light on that.
Absolutely, absolutely. See, the challenge, what I have seen, I have observed for most of the organization, first of all, they are not ready to accept the changes, in terms of the digitalization, digital world. And if I can share my experience in these challenges, so I have faced the challenges, to implement the multi-factor authentication for the any of the organization, they are really not more concerned about the cyber security. So they do not interested to be add the multi-factor authentication because of their own comfort zone, because of non-tech peoples are there, because of maybe they don't want to be create the more complex environment. So this is one of the challenges I have seen that, right? Especially if the non-technical staff who found it inconvenience in terms of the implementation of the two-factor authentication, which is most important nowadays because the username and password, I'm sure that will not work anymore for any application, for any systems and any networks even, right? So this is most of the this is one of the key challenges which I definitely say most important for the all the companies to be addressed on. The another is basically how to address the risk, any risk I can say specifically what I speak about the MFA or any risk for the company. First of all, training is most important. Training session to highlight the benefit and the usability of the tools and technology. If I can say about the MFA, that is also come under the same segment. So training company has to be spend the quality time and the quantity about and the quality and the quantity about the training as well for the staffs, for all the stakeholders, including all the key stakeholders to identify the departmental champion as well. So they have to pick the department. So train the trainer concept they're supposed to be accept or they're supposed to be approached, take the approach on that, right? And they have to promote the the motivation behind the training. They have to promote that maybe the leading the greater acceptance and the smoother implementation along with the training approach.
Rightly said so. And over the years, I have another question for you, Mr. Shah. The role of CISO is continuously evolving, especially with the rapid growth of emerging technologies. As a
Right.
CISO, how do you see this role changing in the next 5 years, particularly with advancements like AI, cloud, and IoT?
I think this is very good questions and maybe even you know very well nowadays the changing is happening very rapidly even we don't have a time we sleep in the night and in the morning something new has come out, right? So yeah, so in the next 5 years as a CISO as a security professional we likely to involve into the most strategic the integrated positions with the organization. So particularly due to the advancement in the AI, cloud, IoT is there, OT is there, you know so CISO definitely it is increasing focus on the developing the comprehensive risk assessment model somewhere because everything is about the gap and the risk. So if we know the gaps, that will be the risk. And if we know the risk, then definitely we can map with the tools and technology and that way we can fill up the gap, we can remediate the risk, we can reduce the overall exposure of the risk end of the day. So you can say the extensive or you can say the comprehensive security framework that align with the business objective while leveraging AI for predictive analytics and the threat detection. So that is most important, right? Second is basically like, the cloud security that will be really most important because every company is moving on the cloud. If I can say in the today's industry, even like, domain doesn't matter. Like in all the companies, almost in the India, 70% companies, they are definitely approaching the cloud and most of the companies, they already have migrated 100% on the clouds. So risk is definitely increasing because if we are on the cloud and the cloud is not a very small junction, it is very big jungle look like, right? So that's why, like, so cloud security will necessitate a deeper understanding of the shared responsibilities model. Because cloud is not only the private cloud, is not in the public cloud, there is the multiple model on the cloud. So that will be the shared responsibility model and the dynamic risk assessment will be there. So while you can like, the IoT device will demand a robust governance framework to manage the associated security challenges because not only the cloud, because there are a lot of IoT devices are there, like, so that also need to be do the risk assessment, that also need to be perform the security governance. So that also most important, like, maybe play the role in this cybersecurity area. Additionally, the CISO will need to be enhance their communication skill overall. So who can definitely speak with the stakeholders in terms of the strategic decision, can speak with the top leaders, can collaborate with the execute when the ensure security is amended into the organization overall culture. So this is most important to be integrate the security in the organization culture and the operations to making them a key player in digital transformation initiative.
Right.
So this is like the you can say vision for the CISO in next 5 years. So CISO will be more play more important role. Like so within the CISO there may be like what I expect in the next 5 years. There may be the logically segregation within the same function. Like the DPO will be there. The you can say the AI governance will be there. You can say the data protection officer will be there. So there are a lot of logical partition also I may expect in the next 5 years even.
Wonderful. And along these lines, they often say that security and innovation go hand in hand, but balancing the two can be a tricky part. As a CISO, how do you promote a culture of innovation while ensuring that there is a robust security at the same time? It has to be a priority for organizations these days. So, how do you navigate this challenge?
So promoting a culture of innovation, definitely it must be there for all the companies because the cybersecurity should not be the blocker for all the companies and it should not be a blocker for the business even because definitely company has to do the business in this digital era. And so for that, definitely like, if you want to promote the culture of innovation with prioritization of the security, involving fostering an environment where employee and empowerment to experiment with defined boundaries. So, I mean to say that, like, company definitely has to, CISO has to give the free hands to the company to, like, do the innovation, like, do the, like, maybe they can explore, they can do the research and development about the product technologies, everything. But yes, we're supposed to define the boundary within this area and within the boundary, let them do the innovation, let them do the research and development and accordingly like the output will come but yes so that is the one thing I can say the balancing between the security and the product innovation. Second is basically like this can be achievable by integrating security practices into the innovation life cycle. So what I said earlier, we create the boundary. So yes, we need to integrate the security life cycle within the innovation life cycle. So that is part of the governance, part of the policy and the procedure practices. So incorporating security reviews at each stage of development and the encouraging, you can say we can encourage cross-function collaboration between security and the innovation team. So that is also one of the method. We can definitely like, take a lead and CISO supposed to like, integrate or CISO supposed to be in well communication with all the department head with the cross-function team as well. So that will definitely work and providing ongoing training that is most important part so training and awareness on secure coding practices because everywhere coding will be there even if you develop the AI, I want to train my model, I want to train my like the product in the OT model. So secure coding practices definitely should be there and additionally, like, finally, the recognizing and the rewarding must be there. So, like, that will definitely create the motivation for the team to make it more innovative within the boundary. And they have to be like, follow this cybersecurity governance while they doing the innovation. So, so yes, so this is the way where we can balance like, everything within the organization.
Fantastic. And lastly, Mr. Shah, As a leader in the information security space, what advice can you give, or what advice, any key recommendations that you can offer to companies that are just beginning their journey towards enhancing their cybersecurity postures, and what should be their first steps when it comes to building a solid, robust foundation?
Okay, I think this is a very good question, and I'm sure this is challenges for companies who do really you can say the consider as a startup, or maybe they are non-tech companies. So, see, my recommendation as per my experience of two decades experience, like I supposed to say, company has to be established the continuous assessment framework in terms of companies begin their journey in enhancing cybersecurity should first conduct throughout the risk assessment for any companies. If they are new in the digital era, they are new in the cybersecurity, they really want to understand the cybersecurity posture for their organization. They have to be come up with the cybersecurity risk assessment for the entire organization for all the business area, not only for the technology, but yes, for the finance, for the marketing, where all the processes are there to identify the vulnerabilities and the critical assets, because that is only the way where we can identify the vulnerability and the gaps in the businesses. And then it should be followed by the establishing the security policies, tools and technologies that should be aligned with the industry standards. So company has to adopt the minimum baseline of the security if they really wanted to move forward with the cyber security initiative, or they want to build the at least baseline of the security for the business, right? Secondly, basically, they have to be develop the incident response plan as well. So I would not say every non-tech company basically they should hire the CISO. They should definitely spend the huge money. They should be establish the security operations center, and they should be outsourced the very highly paid agencies. But yes, they have to be at least be reasonable in terms of to adopting the baseline of the cybersecurity, adopting the the minimum you can say the baseline framework like ISO 27001. I would suggest for the India even, right? And they have to develop the continuous assessment, monitoring, and the incident response plan. So that will really make sense for the company to at least move forward with their business in this digital era. Secondly, basically, it's essential to invest in the employee training. Whatever the company it is, on the you can say startup company, the mid-scale company, the enterprise company, the training is most important for all the employees and all the contractors. Basically, maybe it is the contagious employees, or you can say they are basically the temporary employees. So they have to be in the training for them to see under the training they can definitely build the culture, and that will become in the practice. So once the practice will be developed, then obviously the risk will be gradually will be come down, and one day definitely the people will be more matured in terms of the terms of cyber security, some the terms of the digital transactions in the digital era, right? So security and awareness is most important, and other part is basically the human error is the significant risk for them. So this training will definitely resolve issue about so human error will be less in this case, and implementing the basic security measures such as firewalls, antivirus, you can say maybe the regular software updates. So this is also part of the security operations, and I'm sure nowadays all the companies they follow that. But yeah, this is also one of the basic parameters they have to follow. And finally, they have to consider adopting a robust monitoring systems to detect and respond the potential threat proactively. So this three, four things, if they follow, then I'm sure there is no issue for anyone. And there is no any significant things required to be run the company, even at the startup level.
Absolutely. And thank you once again for providing these wonderful insights, Mr. Shah. While we conclude this session, I'm sure our audience has a lot to take away from all these crucial insights that you've offered today. Thank you once again for joining us in this series, and I look forward to connecting back with you again.
Sure. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.